You've felt it before. That moment when you put your phone down and then pick it back up again 3 seconds later. You didn't get a notification. Nothing changed. But something pulled you back. You think it's boredom. You think it's habit. It isn't. What you just experienced was a psychological trigger, engineered in a lab in Silicon Valley, tested on millions of users, and refined until it became nearly impossible to resist. And the terrifying part? The people who built it don't use it themselves. Let's talk about dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, the thing that fires when you eat something good or fall in love. That's only half the story. Neuroscientists now understand that dopamine isn't triggered by receiving a reward. It's triggered by the anticipation of one. Here's what that means in plain English. Your brain releases dopamine before you know if the reward is coming. It's the uncertainty that creates the spike. This is called a variable reward schedule, a concept first mapped by behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner in the 1950s using pigeons and lever boxes. When a pigeon pressed a lever and sometimes got food, not always, but sometimes, it became obsessed. It would press the lever hundreds of times, compulsively, desperately. Now look at your phone again. Every time you pull down to refresh Instagram, check if your tweet went viral, or open TikTok, you are pressing Skinner's lever. And the engineers at Meta, TikTok, and YouTube know exactly what they built. In 2017, a former VP of user growth at Facebook, named Chamath Palihapitiya, stood up at Stanford Business School and said something that shook the room. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, "The short-term, dopamine-driven feedback loops we've created are destroying how society works." This wasn't a critic from the outside. This was one of the architects of the machine, admitting in public what most of us only suspected. But how exactly does the machine work? Let's take Instagram's notification system as a case study. Around 2012, Instagram engineers discovered something strange in their data. When users posted a photo, likes would sometimes come in immediately, and sometimes they'd be delayed by several hours. The version with delayed likes generated more app opens. Why? Because the brain's dopamine system went on high alert. Did anyone like it yet? What if they did? I need to check. Here's where it gets sinister. There are credible reports, corroborated by former employees and documented by researchers like Adam Alter, author of Irresistible. The platforms experimented with withholding like notifications and then releasing them in a sudden cluster. One big hit of validation all at once. Sound familiar? It should, because that is the exact mechanism of a slot machine jackpot. Las Vegas didn't invent the dopamine trap. Silicon Valley just put it in your pocket, made it free, and called it a social network. And the most sophisticated part of this system isn't the notification, it's the scroll. The infinite scroll, patented by designer Asa Raskin in 2006, was designed to remove every natural stopping point from your feed. No page breaks. No end. Just an eternal river of content. Raskin himself later said he regrets inventing it. But here is where it gets dark. Most people think social media is designed for connection, for sharing memories, finding community, staying informed. In reality, it's designed for maximum time on platform, because time on platform is what gets sold to advertisers. Your attention is not the product by accident. Let me show you the full loop, what I call the dopamine ownership cycle. Step 1. Trigger. You receive a cue, a notification, a red badge, a sound. Your dopamine system activates in anticipation. Step 2. Action. You open the app. The variable reward fires. Sometimes you see something exciting, sometimes nothing. The unpredictability keeps you hunting. Step 3. Reward. Likes, comments, shares, outrage, laughter. Each one is calibrated. Each one is tracked. Step 4. Investment. You post more. You follow more accounts. The algorithm learns you triggers with terrifying precision. The more you use it, the better it gets at holding you. This loop was not designed by accident. It was designed by teams of behavioral psychologists, game designers, and neuroscientists working alongside engineers. The same psychological architecture that powers gambling addiction was reverse engineered into software. And here is the piece that most people miss entirely. The algorithm is not showing you what you love. It's showing you what you can't look away from. Those are not the same thing. Anger, fear, and moral outrage generate 70% more engagement than calm, positive content, according to internal data referenced in The Social Dilemma. So the algorithm doesn't optimize for your happiness. It optimizes for your activation. You are not a user. You are a resource being harvested. Here's the good news. Once you understand the mechanics of the trap, you can start to dismantle it. Not by going off-grid or throwing your phone in a river, but by using the same psychology against the system. Here are 3 practical shields. Shield number 1. Kill the variable. Create the fixed. The dopamine spike comes from uncertainty. So remove the uncertainty. Schedule exactly 2 times per day when you check social media, say noon and 7 p.m. Outside of those windows, notifications are off. What this does is convert your behavior from a compulsive response to a deliberate choice. The brain's reward system can't exploit a reflex that doesn't fire. Compulsive is theirs. Deliberate is yours. Shield number 2. Feed the algorithm lies. Algorithms build a profile of your emotional triggers. They test content against you. What makes you linger? What makes you react? Starve the data. Deliberately engage with content that is neutral to you. Watch a cooking video you don't care about, like a post on a topic you're indifferent to. Over time, this degrades the precision of your behavioral profile. You become harder to target. Former tech insiders have called this algorithmic pollution, and it's entirely free. Shield number 3. Replace the loop. Don't break it. Your brain needs a dopamine loop. That's not a flaw. It's the engine of human ambition. The goal is not to eliminate the loop, but to redirect it. Build a personal project with clear milestones, a business, a fitness goal, a creative skill. Every milestone hit becomes your variable reward. Your brain gets its dopamine spike. But this time, you design the lever. You control the casino. Own your loop, or someone else will. Now here's the 2026 reality check. What we've discussed so far, the variable reward, the infinite scroll, the engagement optimization, that was version 1 of the dopamine trap. What's being deployed right now is version 3. AI recommendation systems are no longer just tracking what you click. They're modeling your emotional state in real time, using scroll speed, pause duration, replay behavior, and typing patterns to infer whether you're anxious, lonely, or bored. And then serving content calibrated specifically for that emotional state. A person who is lonely at 11 p.m. gets served content that deepens the feeling of connection need, which keeps them scrolling for a parasocial hit that never quite satisfies. A person who is angry gets served more outrage fuel. Not because the algorithm wants you angry, but because angry people scroll longer. The AI doesn't hate you. It just doesn't care about you at all. It has one objective function: time on platform. And in 2026, it is more effective at achieving that objective than at any point in human history. We are the first generation to face a technology that is smarter than our instincts at exploiting our instincts. And most of us handed it our behavioral data, voluntarily, for free, in exchange for the ability to post vacation photos. You came into this video thinking about your phone. You're leaving with something different: the architecture, the blueprint, the actual code running in the background of your daily behavior. And that changes everything. Because the dopamine trap only works in the dark. It runs on the assumption that you don't know the lever is there. Now you do. The question is whether you use that knowledge, or whether the next notification will interrupt this thought before it finishes forming. Notice that impulse right now. Notice if your hand moved. That's the trap. And now, you can see it. Once you see the pattern, you can unsee it. If this video rewired something for you, share it with someone who needs to see it. And if you want to go deeper into the psychology of influence, control, and social power, the next video is already waiting. The pattern continues.